Hello and welcome back to Today in the NBA, where today I'm going to be going over the Orlando Magic's past regular season, not really their postseason, their off-season, and looking at some of the possible outcomes for this coming season. Now to start off, the Orlando Magic finished as the 13th seed with I believe a record of 34-38. This isn't great, and this team has changed. All of the players will be getting better this off-season, so I'm not going to bother going over the advanced stats like a net rating, offensive rating, or a defensive rating. Now, to look at the Magic's depth chart for next season, their starters on ESPN here are listed as Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., and their bench is listed as Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, Jett Howard, Joe Ingles, and Goga Bitadze. Now, I think that this probably isn't going to be the lineup going into next year. I think starting, they'll probably have Markelle Fultz, and then at the shooting guard, I think it will either be Jalen Suggs, Jett Howard, or Anthony Black. Probably not Anthony Black though, so I'm probably going to be putting my money on Jett Howard. Their small forward still be starting Franz Wagner. Power forward and centre will all still be the same. Off the bench, backup point guard is probably Anthony Black, and then the backup two guard, I can see Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs fighting for those minutes. Now the backup small forward, I can definitely see being Jonathan Isaac. He's being paid so much money, and he is just coming off an injury, and I think he will be much, much better. Backup power forward, I could see Mo Wagner sliding into those minutes instead of Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is the sort of player that he doesn't really need to be playing for your team to feel his veteran impact, although when he is on the court, he does make the right play a lot of the time, and he is a great player to have. Backup centre, Goga Bitadze. Sure, I could maybe see a Chuma Okeke or a Mo Wagner in there. Their starting lineup and their bench and the whole Magic rotation is definitely very subject to change for next season, as they have a lot of good young players and a couple good veterans. Now, grading the Magic's off-season, I didn't really love it. I'm probably going to give them a B-. They had two really great draft picks, being the only team in the whole league this year to have two lottery picks. I definitely didn't hate the Anthony Black pick, considering we have the hindsight now of knowing what went on with Cam Whitmore. I think that Anthony Black was probably the right pick. Maybe I could have been convinced of a Jarace Walker or Taylor Hendricks instead, but still, I think it was a pretty good pick. The Jett Howard pick is something that I had a problem with, however. If you were really sold on selecting Jett Howard, you probably could have traded back, 5 spots, and then maybe got a good second or a very late first. It's definitely something that you could have changed, and I still much would have rather them go with Grady Dick or even Nick Smith Jr. Now, for this off-season, I don't really see the Magic doing much more. If they are going to make a trade, I would like to see them maybe do something with Gary Harris. I don't know if he was re-signed this year or not. I don't think he was, but I could definitely see them moving on from him. But I think this team is probably going to make most of its moves around the trade deadline, when its rotation minutes are sort of sorted out, and when they know how good they are and how they stack up compared to the other teams in the East. This team has a great young future, and I am quite high on them going into the season. I think that around the trade deadline, maybe a Gary Harris and then one of either Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs could move on. Maybe a Caleb Houston or a Chuma Okeke. Maybe even a John Isaac, who knows. I think this team might be able to do with one more good veteran, someone that could actually receive meaningful rotation minutes. Joe Ingles is a solid player, but I don't really see him receiving more than maybe the 9th or 10th man on the rotation. Anyway, now for my prediction for the Magic next year. I think that the Magic are going to finish as the 9th seed with the same record as what I predicted the Toronto Raptors would finish with, 41-41, but I do think that they will have the tiebreaker over them. I can see them beating the Magic in the first round of the play-in, and then probably losing to the Atlanta Hawks in the second round of the play-in. Now, the problem for the Magic is going to be next year, when you've got another first round pick and you end up drafting most likely another later lottery player. I don't think that this team has enough space for all these young players and veterans. This team definitely does need veterans, but it also definitely needs to work on developing or even moving on from some of its young rotation. Now, I could see maybe moving on from Jalen Suggs if he doesn't play well this year. He hasn't played well his first 2 years. He's really struggled on the offensive side of the ball. He's been a plus perimeter defender, but that's definitely not enough to stick around in the NBA. you're probably not going to get a lot if you move on from him, so it might just be worth keeping him, but who knows. If you get a good offer from another team, I could definitely see the Magic holding on to him. I would maybe consider moving off of someone like a Mo Wagner. He's a solid backup centre, but you don't really want to have him taking away some rotation minutes from some of the younger players on your roster, especially considering he's probably not going to get any better. If you do keep him though, it probably just is to keep Franz Wagner happy, so who knows, it might be worth it. Anyway, I really do like the Magic's possible future outcomes. I think they've got a great young core. I think Paolo Banchero will be really good next year. My official prediction for what this team's players are going to do, I think Paolo Banchero could possibly be an all-star. Maybe an all-star replacement if someone gets injured. Who knows? I think he's probably going to average around 24 points this year, maybe 48% from the field. Could see 34% from 3, which is what I would definitely consider a positive for Paolo. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please check out some of my other videos. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave it a like. And if you really enjoyed it, I would really appreciate a subscription. If you've got any more ideas on what the Magic could do or any more opinions on them, leave it a comment down below. And thank you all for watching. See you all in the next one.